Okay, so the last section of the chapter, 7.4, problem solving with percent. So now these are going to be very similar to what we were just doing in 7.3. The only difference is going to be a little bit more wordy, and it's going to be a little bit tougher to always figure out exactly what the pieces are. But you're still going to be looking at P, B, and R. So looking at the first question, we got Robert Garrett, who works part-time, earns $210 per week and has 18% of this amount withheld for taxes, Social Security, and Medicare. Find the amount withheld. So we need to identify our three pieces again. So we got R, B, and P. So if we look in trying to find out what R is first, R looks like it's going to be 18%. So we got that quickly. Now, as far as the base and the par, those two can tend to get mixed up easily with these problems. So just be really careful when you read the problem and make sure that it fits correctly. So we got works part-time, earns $210 per week, and has 18% of this amount withheld for taxes, Social Security, and Medicare. So of this amount, 18% of the $210. So whatever follows of is still our base, so that must be our base. So the part is what we're looking for. Now, depending on which method you like better, the percent proportion or the percent equation, you use the applicable method and you can find the missing piece. Personally, I like the percent equation. It's a little bit faster, usually. So if we plug in our numbers, and we change our percent to a decimal. Once you get the hang of it, you pretty much can skip the first step and jump right to the second one. But until you do, just be careful. So if we multiply, let's clear that, 210 times 0.18, 37.8. So 37.8 is the answer. But now what are we talking about? Now we got to make sure we have the correct units. So the amount withheld, so we're talking about cash. So $37.80. So now let's try the next one. The guided missile destroyer USS Sullivan's has a 335-person crew, of which 44 are female. What percent of the crew is female? What percent of the crew is male? All right, so now we still got our R, our B, and our P. What percent of the crew is female? What percent of the crew is male? So we must be looking for R. Now, as far as the only other two numbers we got 335 and 44. Now, it says of which 44 are female. Now, that's deceiving. You want to immediately think that 44 is the base because it's following of, but it's not quite the same because of that which in there. So really the base, remember, is all of what you're talking about. So in this case, the whole crew is 335 people. So that's got to be our base. So 44 must be our part. So now if we divide P over B, that should give us our answer. So 13.13 and so on. Oops. So 13.1% would be female. Now, we still got to find out what percent of the crew is male. Now, we can do this a couple of different ways. One way is, well, if we know that 44 of the crew are women, we can subtract to find out the number that are males. So we just subtract 44 from that, and then we do the same sort of problem again. But we could do it a lot faster if we realize that the whole crew is 100%. We've already allocated 13.1% of that. So if we just subtract, that gives us 86.9. So that means 86.9% are male. So we got our females and we got our males. So now let's do one more and then we'll pause. The Campus Honor Society hoped to raise $50,000 in donations from businesses for scholarships. It actually raised $69,000. This amount was what percent of the goal? Okay, so let's get our letters. So in this case, what percent is what we're looking for? So we don't know what that is. But now we gotta be careful between the base and the part. One of these is one of these is the other. So let's read it one more time. So they hope to raise $50,000 in donations, but they actually raised $69,000. This amount was what percent of the goal? So this amount is referring to the previous sentence, which is the $69,000. So that is what this amount is referring to, but now of the goal. So what was the goal? They had hoped to raise $50,000. So the goal is the $50,000, and that follows the word of, so that must be the base. Now it seems weird because the part is bigger than the base, but sometimes that does happen. So we're going to get a peculiar answer from this. So if we divide the 69,000 by 50,000, we get 1.38. And then if we change it to a percent, we get 138%. So, which makes sense because we made more than the goal. If you make over the goal, you better make over 100%. So that's what you'd have to do in this case. So just be really careful. Usually you got a 50-50 shot. If you got it one direction and the answer doesn't seem quite right, then chances are if you reverse them, that should fix it. So more to come in the next video.